I guess it's kind of nice. The weather got a little bit nicer towards the end of the week, which I am grateful for, because in my old age, I am as cold-blooded as a lizard. And it gets a little bit cool, and of course, my wife is the opposite. So, nothing new here. Anyway, we're going to start with Hine Matov, and take it away.
Hine Matov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, hine Matov. La 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 la. Hine Matov, hine Matov. La 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 la. Hine Matov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manaim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Please turn to page 3, or page 2, actually, 2 and 3. And we're going to do the candle lighting. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Please turn to page 6. And at the bottom of page 6, we will read responsively. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness, pride, envy, and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Please turn to page 20. Are you ready for the Laudato Si?
Yeah.
Okay, 20. Okay. We will do, well, we'll follow Elliot.
Five verses of Laudato Si.
Okay.
Laudato Si likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabala. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Kishmiyam Eloham Yuchad, Adonai Echad u'Shemo Echad, L'Shem u'Tiferet v'Litchala. Laudato Si, Laudato לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מהמוש מקדם נוסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבת שחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי,
Five.
Five. Hoki.
I'm sorry. I
Verse
was-
4, verse 4.
Verse 4, sorry.
Okay. Hitoroi, hitoroi, kiva hore kumi hori, uri, uri, shirta beri, kevod Adonai halayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
9.
Bohi v'shalom aderet bala, gam b'simcha v'tzala, toch emunei am sekula, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated for just a moment. We'll be rising again in a second, but we're going to turn to page 27. At the bottom, we're going to read these two paragraphs. I'll read the first, you'll read the second. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair.
Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Let Sunday be today as the one before, let the tea seven ways.
We're going to turn to page 28 for Baruch. Please rise.
La 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 Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. We're going to turn to page 30, where we will read together at the bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. We're going to turn to page 32, and we will sing Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu, v'kumenu nasiach bukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mevitzvotecha l'olam va'ed. Hem chayenu, v'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'lai, negei yomam v'layla. V'ahavadcha al tasir, mimenu l'olamin. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
We're going to turn to page 34. Please rise as we recite the mission statement of our faith. I refuse to call it a watchword.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto, Le'olam Ha'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto, Le'olam Ha'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We're going to turn to page 36, and we will chant the V'ahavta together. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher Anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shiftecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shokpecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem kadoshim lelohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem mi eretz mitzrayim, leot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. We're going to turn to page 40, and we will chant together the Michamocha.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 la
Excuse me. We're going to turn to page 40. Oh, 43. Okay. Turn to page 43. Normally we read in the middle of the page. I'm going to go to the top of the page and we'll read that together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, Ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. And we're going to turn to the middle of page 44, and we will read together in the English. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Please turn to page 46, and we will rise for the Amidah.
שפפת תפתח ופייגד תחילתך. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hamorah, Ha'el Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'kotnei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umavi Gehula Levine v'Nehem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Hoseh u'Moshiach u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechachako berachamim rabim, Somech yoflim v'horfech cholim, Umati hasurim, Umachayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Mechmet met mit, Chayeh, Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ara l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Machayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim b'choyam yichalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. We're going to turn to page 54, and we're going to read in the middle together. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other ways, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We're going to now turn to page 57. Is that 57? Oh, okay. We're going to do the first paragraph in English together. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds, in our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Please turn to page 58. What I'm going to do, I'm going to read at the top of the page in the Hebrew, the first paragraph. And then we will read together in the English, and we'll finish up with the prayer at the bottom of the page. But I will start with Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed, sod chayenu, magen yishenu, atahu ledor vador. And now together, we acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We're going to turn to page 60, and we're going to sing Shalom Rav together.
Shalom Rav Yal Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yal Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecho Salom. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav Yal Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yal Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב יל ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב יל ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Boy, I love the way he arranged that. Anyway, we're going to turn to page 253, which is with the Via Hafta, which you're tired of hearing me say to me are the two prayers that best encapsulate what Judaism is all about.
Do we read the people? Oh, we're not doing a reading? Okay.
And, wrong one. Okay. Now, before we recite it, of course, I'm going to read a list of names of people that we are wishing to recover. And then I'll do my best Charlton Heston doing Moses. And as I extend my arm, you guys can add anybody that should be added to the list that's not on it. We are wishing for better health for Sherry Davies, Leah Dolman, Malia Willis, Judy Yesowich, Lev Diekerman, Carla Dunbar, Gila Neria, Bryce Schulten, David Gould, Sandy Hall, John Lermit, Nash Zayed, Renee Sackerman, Fran Diamond, Ricky Haynes, Robbie Haynes, Rich Goldwyn, Madeline Spaulding, Christine Taylor, Marie Rosenberg, Jim Todd, men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces, men and women of the IDF, 3 families who are still awaiting the return from Gaza of their loved ones' remains for proper burial.
Mix after which San Marcos, go.
In the middle of the page, 253, we will sing Mishaberach, the prayer for recovery.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Lahimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu kor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of the body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
For those of you that need the words, because it's a very short prayer, you can turn back to page 62 as we sing Oseh Shalom, a prayer for peace. And Lord knows we need it. You're right. We're going to first do the silent prayer. I've only been doing this for 10 years, folks. We're first going to do a silent prayer, and then we'll come in with the Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom Imronav, Hu Yaseh Shlom Aheinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, Imru Amen. Aseh Shalom, Aseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom v'amir Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'Ako Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'Ako Yisrael. Haseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'Ako Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Ayakol Israel. Oseh Shalom Mimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Imru, Amen.
Obviously, we're in Genesis right now. One of the perks of getting to be a lay leader is when I'm looking at a parsha, I'm the son of a scholar, but I'm not a scholar. But you get to read commentary by some of the most brilliant minds in the past 1,000 or so years. The commentary on the Torah, the commentary on the Parshot. And I'm absolutely astounded by certain minds. I'm not going to talk about Rabbi Sachs's viewpoint tonight. I've used him enough. But there are others that I've used. Rashi, who lived 1,000 years ago, and still one of the greatest minds ever. And another one, and it's going to surprise you, but it's the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I don't know how long he's been gone, but he existed in our lifetime, lived in Brooklyn, and I may have mentioned this before. My dad actually met with him, my father, the scholar, and my dad came back and said, some of these guys are charlatans, this guy's the real deal. And Dad didn't say that about anybody, just anybody. But he said this man had an astounding mind. And this was from a comment of a fellow that was the first director of the Bureau of Jewish Education in Louisville, started and ran the Hebrew school as we know it, and my dad had that kind of respect for him. So interestingly enough, the most unique perspective I found on this parsha was from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. First, I want to explain to you what the parsha was about. Last week, we were talking about when Abraham bound Isaac and was going to sacrifice him. It was a test of God to see if Abraham truly believed in him. And of course, Isaac was spared. What most people don't know is when Abraham came back with Isaac, Sarah was dead. She had died of grief over what was going to happen to her child that she didn't give birth to until she was in her 90s. By the way, she lived to be 127, and they say that she looked like she was 27. I should be so lucky. Anyway, and then, of course, there's the part of getting a wife for Isaac, where Abraham sends his most trusted servant, and he looks for a sign. The sign came from Rebekah, who offered not only to give him water, but to water his camels. But this is not what we're going to talk about. Abraham comes back and he finds that his wife has passed. He goes to Ephron the Hittite because he wanted to buy a suitable burial plot for our ultimate mother, Sarah. The cave of Machpelah. And he buys it, even though the man said, I would give it to you for use for your burial, even though I could sell it easily for 400 talents of silver. Abraham paid him because not only was it the right thing to do, but it saves a lot of grief later, as we all know. And Sarah is buried there. What the Lubavitcher Rebbe chose to focus on was the fourth line in the whole parsha, and it's a very short line. When Abraham approaches Ephron, he says, I am a stranger and a resident amongst you, as a prelude to him requesting a plot of land to bury his wife. Now, I would have skipped right over that, personally. I'm not a scholar, but this is not something that would normally have hit, just got to me. But I was reading the commentaries. That's what the Lubavitcher Rebbe chose to focus on. Now, here is one of the great Talmudic minds of the 20th century. And he chose to focus on this innocuous sounding thing, Hey, it's just kind of like, I'm not from here, I just moved to town. That's the equivalent. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe looked at that line, and I don't think I can paraphrase it well enough, so I am actually going to read what he wrote. Again, it said, I am a stranger and a resident amongst you. The Jew is a resident, in parentheses, in the world, for the Torah instructs him not to escape the physical reality, but to inhabit it and elevate it. Virtually all the mitzvot, the divine commandments of the Torah, are physical actions involving physical objects in keeping with the Jew's mission to make a dwelling for God in the material realm by sanctifying the everyday materials of everyday life. At the same time, the Jew feels himself a stranger in the material world. His true home is a higher, loftier place, the world of spirit, the world of holiness and godliness, from which his soul has been exiled and to which it yearns to return. Indeed, it is only because the Jew feels himself a stranger in the world that he can avoid being wholly consumed and overwhelmed by it, and maintain the spiritual vision and integrity required to elevate it and sanctify it as an abode for the divine presence. Just 2 paragraphs and a seemingly innocuous sentence. But this man saw beyond it. He saw so far beyond it to come up with that commentary, that interpretation, how to relate it to us. Because this is a 20th century. This is not somebody from 1602 in a shtetl in Lithuania. This is a man who was in Brooklyn and was the spiritual figurehead of the Chabad movement. needless to say, as I said, I was astounded that he could do that. But I think that's a very valuable lesson for us, that we are of this world, we are part of this world, we interact with this world, and we try to, the whole concept of tikkun olam is to make the world a place for the divine presence. But at the same time, he says there's another home that we have and that our soul yearns to return to. And I think that's just a marvelous thing. Now we're going to turn to our Bima guest, Ellen Gray, who I appreciate being here, and she's going to read the announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thanks for coming. Tomorrow morning services will begin at 10:30 and are in person only. There will not be any streaming for it. The volunteer appreciation dinner is next Friday night, and I believe Elliot is going to be here as well. So please come for services and/or dinner. If you haven't RSVP'd, please RSVP. Slava needs to know pretty much today was the last day. So if you haven't RSVP'd, if you'll send her something, she'll get it Monday, but she has to finalize all the dinner arrangements by Monday. So please let her know. The next 4 dates for our Saturday tour study sessions are over Bagels and Lox are November 22nd, December 20th, January 17th, and February 14th. And they will be very thought-provoking. Please join us. And it will be in the email blast, so please check your email. Want to learn Hebrew or just brush up? Temple Shalom Rabbi Starting Hebrew classes, beginner Hebrew, starting Wednesday, December 3rd from 4 to 5 here at Temple. Just RSVP to Rabbi if you are interested in joining. Our next congregational meeting will be held December 7th here at Temple. We'll have breakfast at 9:30, and if you would like to join us for breakfast, please RSVP for that as well, either to Slava or Latanya. But the meeting starts at 10:30. For anybody that was at the October 26th meeting, this is a continuation of that meeting, and probably sometime either January or February, we are hoping to call for a vote of the congregation. So if there's something that you don't know that's going to be happening, please attend this meeting. Please, please, please. We want your opinion, we want your input, and we want you to hear what is taking place. It's really, really important. So it's going to be 10:30, December 7th in the morning. So please try to be there. RSVP if you're coming to the breakfast to Slava or Latanya. We're in year 3 of the Kadima campaign, and once again, a generous and anonymous donor has matched the first $75,000. So we are very close to reaching that match. So anything that anybody thinks that they can contribute would be amazing. It has come to our attention that someone is impersonating Rabbi Jakowicz-Chotner online. So if you're getting an email that says, go out and buy gift cards, cross off the back and send me a picture of them or whatever, please let them know here at Temple. We actually have Stuart Lowry from, what's yeah, I don't know what all the acronym is, but they are staying on top. They're trying to narrow down and basically catch who this is. So, and this happened to a number of congregants, and it's actually happening all over. It's not just at Temple Shalom, it's not just in Louisville. So people are getting a hold of either directories or parts of directories, and they're asking you to buy Apple or CVS or Dollar Tree or some other chain gift card and send them a copy of it after you've scratched it off, which of course is basically money you've just flushed down the toilet. So please do not do this. It is not coming from Rabbi Chalkowitz Chotner. So we are working with Stuart Lowry on this, so if you can forward the email to him, again, it will be in your email. So, Sheila, how can they send the information?
For what? I'm sorry.
From the emails, if they get a scam email?
They should just notify the office, Latanya.
Okay.
And then she'll pass it on.
Okay. Also, Temple Shalom actually has a couple of grave plots that are available at Cave Hill Cemetery. It's just a very small number. I believe is it four? Four. So if anybody is interested, please contact Matt Doctorow. He has all the purchase information and where the plots are and everything. More details about all the events will be in your weekly bulletin, so please read your email. Thank you very much to Aviv for leading the service and Elliot for the music. It was exceptional tonight. So thank you very much. And Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
And thank you to Travis for streaming, because God help us if I had to do it.
Nobody would have it if I did it, so.
Okay. I'm going to add one more thing. In 2019, the 4 Jewish members of Lost Tribe, yes, most klezmer bands are not entirely all Jews. Otherwise, we'd have no musicians. At any rate, we went to a klezmer camp in the Catskills, the foothills of the Catskills. And what's interesting is most of you remember for the Civil War thing, there was a fiddle tune that became very popular called Ashokan's Farewell. Well, the guy that wrote it, Jay Unger, runs the Ashokan camp there. And this was the last year they had klezmer camp. And one of the instructors was a fellow named Mark Rubin. Mark Rubin has a whole show for Jews, and he's been doing it all over the country. It's called The Jew of Oklahoma, because he's from Oklahoma. Mark is not only a well-known klezmer musician, he's also very much well-known in the Americana music world. He's played countless sessions as a studio musician. He's traveled around the world, but he has his own show now called The Jew of Oklahoma. We are bringing him here December 12th and December 13th. And yeah, I guess I nagged enough people to get my way. But folks, you do not want to miss Mark Rubin. He will put on a show like you haven't seen in a long time. Now, much of his music that he's going to perform, it's Judaic in theme. A lot of it has to do with history, not all of it good. But he puts on a one-man show with passion and fire. You need to come here and to see this. It's not going to cost you anything. There's going to be, and because of the generosity of the men's club, but most of all, to Watts, who came up with the idea where we're going to have a barbecue dinner beforehand. But this is going to be a really, really special show, because this man is the real deal. So on Friday night, he works also at the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience in New Orleans. That Friday night, the 12th, he's going to talk about that as the Devar Torah. The next night, we're going to have the dinner and the concert. And I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this guy. He's amazing. He can play anything from swing to bluegrass to klezmer. He's something else, and he has an amazing knowledge of both traditional American, and traditional Eastern European Ashkenazic music. A very deep knowledge. I'm 10 years older than the guy, and I still learn stuff from him. So I'm going to probably, you'll probably hear me say this again, but please be here. We're going to turn to page 294. Now, I've mentioned this before. We're about to recite Kaddish, and in a minute I'm going to recite the names. The Kaddish does not mention death, does not mention the loss of our loved ones. It's a prayer that we recite that praises God. It's in Aramaic, but it praises God, which is a unique thing because there's no other, to my knowledge, there's no other tradition, religion, and again, it's to my limited knowledge, that has a prayer like this where we remember our loved ones who've passed on before us, but there's no mention of death, no mention of the loss of loved ones. What I'm going to do, I'm going to read the list of people who this week is their Yortzeit, Yiddish for years' time. We remember when we think of our loved ones, death has recently taken from us. They died at this season in years past. May their memories be for a blessing. And we remember Herb Green, Sarah Harris, John Hertzfeld Sr., Joseph J. Heimson, Gail Luft, Ann H. Master, Mary O'Brien, Albert E. Owens, Nanette Parker, Nella Pergamenchik, Phyllis Rosenbluth, Sadie Seligman, Julia Soletto. Please rise as a congregation. We recite the Kaddish for those who have passed on before us. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam leolmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. Our concluding song is, I just went blank. Lo Yisagoy. It's on page, I think, 311. Let me look. Well, it's not 311. Thank you. Page 341 at the bottom of the page.
לא יישא גואל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גואל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גואל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גואל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גואל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גואל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה.
Thank you for Ellen Gray for being our Bima guest. And I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. We're going to convene in the lobby for Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat Shalom.